What's up, guys? In this video, we will be using MySQL. And with MySQL, I created a database, and I will show you how to create tables for the database. I'll show you how to insert records into those tables, and we're going to execute some queries that I wrote to retrieve the data we need from the database. So let's get started. And as you can see, I wrote comments so you guys can understand what's going on in the code. So company name is Minchenko Systems, and we're going to create the database. So let's execute this query, create database Minchenko Systems. Query completed. Now we want to use Minchenko Systems. So let's run that query. And for the first table, I'll briefly explain what's going on and everything that I'm doing. But for the next tables, I'm not going to explain as much because I don't want to take up too much time on this video. So for the first table, we want to create table. And these are going to be the columns in that table. And then after we create the columns, we're going to insert the records into those columns. So basically, the customer number, that's going to be the primary key. And then we're going to do the first name, last name, company name, address, city, state, zip code, email, phone. So let's execute this query. Query completed. Now let's insert the records, insert the customer records. And let me explain. So default, that's going to be the customer number, which is the primary key. And for first name, we have Walter. For last name, we have Lemus. For company name, DJ Mix. Address 123 Main Street. City, Louisville. State, Texas. Zip code 75067. Email lemus@dj.com. Phone number 12345678891. And the same thing for the other two customers I created. There's all their information. And we want to select all from customer. That's what that star means. Select all from customer. I'm sorry, I forgot to execute this query. Let's execute the query first. Now, let's select all from the customer table. And as you can see, it worked. So we have the customer number, we have the customer's first name, last name, company name, address, city, state, etc. So we created 3 customers in the customer table. All right, now we're going to create a table called INC, short for incident, an incident table. So let's run the query to create the table. Run the query to insert all the data into the table. And let's select everything from the table. And as you can see, incident ID, we have the packet data time, which gives the date and time of the incident, source IP, destination IP, protocol, source port, destination port, host IP, server IP, source MAC address, destination MAC address, info about the incident, and the customer number. So as you can see, customer 1 has two incidents. is. So customer one, which is DJ Mix, that's the company name. Walter Lemus. He has two incidences here in this table. That's just a quick example. So let's create the employees table. Same thing, create table, run the query, insert the data into the table, and we want to select all from the employee table. And we have two employees here. There's the employee number, uh, employee first name, last name, email address, position. There's the two employees. Now we want to create a table called logins. So let's create the table, insert the data, and select all from the login table. And as you can see, there's the login ID and there's the person ID, the username who logged in, their password, just put password, 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 and person type. So we have C for customer. As you can see, Lemus, that's a customer. Rios, that's a customer. Freeman, that's a customer. Rivera, employee. Minchenko, employee. All right. And let's run some queries to retrieve data that we need from those tables. So I'm going to run the query first, and then we'll explain what's going on. All right. In this query, we wanted to retrieve the customer. So I put C for customer table. We use an alias. C, that's for the customer table. We want their first name, last name, company name, email, and then from the login table, we want the username. So we got to join the customer table with the login table. And as you can see, customer C, that's the alias. Login L, L, that's the alias. And we only want results from person type C for customers. So as you can see, when we ran that query, we got all the customers' information, email address, and username. So that's all the information about our customers, and that's what we wanted. Let's run another query. Okay, in this query, we want the information about our employees. So, same thing. E, that's an alias for the employee table. We want the employee number, employee first name, last name, email, their position, and from the login table, we want their username. So, same thing. We had to join the employee table with the login table. From the employee table, join login table on employee number is equal to the login person ID. So those are the primary keys, and we only want person type E. So as you can see, this retrieved the information from our employees. We have their number, first name, last name, their email address, their position, and their username. Let's run another one. Okay. In this query, we want all the information about the incidences. So, from the customers, we want all the information of the customer incidences. So, as you can see, from the customer table, C is the alias for the customer table. We want their first name, last name, company name, and from the incidence table, the information we want there, we want the source IP, destination IP, and info about the incident. So, as you can see, we want to right join the customer table with the incident table. And as you can see, there's the customer's first name. So let's see here. Walter Lemus, he has 2 incidences, company name, and there's the information. Maestro Rios, he has 3 incidences. There's his company name, and etc. You see what's going on. So that's a query to retrieve that data. And let's do another one. All right. In this query, as you can see here, we wanted the data lined up like this. So we wanted the customer's name, company name, address, and yes, that's all the information we wanted for that query. So as you can see, we want to we use the concat for the first name, space, last name, and then on the second line, we want the company name. On the third line, we want the address, and then on the second line, we want to concat the city, state, and zip code. So as you can see, that's the query I wrote to retrieve that data. Let's run this query. All right, this query retrieve the number of each time a customer had an incident. So as you can see, company name DJ Mix, he had 2 incidences. Company name Yummy, they had 3. Top Tech, they had 4. So as you can see, we want to select the columns from the tables. C, that's the alias for the customer table. And we want to select the company name. And we want to count the number of incidences. We want to count the incident ID in the incident table. And we want to join the customer table with the inst table. So as you can see, the customer number from the customer table equals the customer number from the incident table. And we want to group them by the customer number. And this query retrieve the data that we need so we can see all the companies and the number of incidents they had. So here, okay, these are actually 2 queries. I wanted to find out who has the most incidences and who has the least incidences. So we want to select, that's pretty much what we just did in the last one, but there's a reason for it. So I don't want to explain that again because we just did it. But at the end here, you can see order by descending order. So we wanted to order by descending order. So that's the most, that's the least. And for the second query, basically the same thing, except we want to select customer number 1 and customer number 3. And we want to group by the customer number, which that gives us DJ Mix. He has the lowest count of incidences reported. And top tech, they had the most count of incidences reported. So basically, these queries gave me what I need to figure out who has the least amount of incidences and the most amount of incidences. And for the last one, so for this one, we want the customer number, we want the date of their last incident, and we want the days since that last incident. So basically, the days passed since the last incident happened. So as you can see, we want to select columns from table, select customer number, and as you all know, MySQL, their date format is different. It's, I believe, year, month, day. I can't remember exactly, to be honest, but we have to change the date format. So we want to change the date format for month, day, year for US, and we're going to name that column as the last incident, which that's here. And then we also want the date difference from the current date as days since last incident. So that's that. And then we had to do a subquery. So we wanted to select the customer number. We wanted the max packet data time. That's what the column was named. And we renamed it as date I, which that's why that's up here. So in the subquery, we wanted the maximum date from the incident table, and we want to group it by customer number. And that query retrieved the information that we needed, gave me the customer number, the last day of their incident, and days passed since that incident. All right, well, that's my video of a brief demonstration of how to use MySQL.